morning. Good morning, everybody. It's quiet out here, as it should be. Days start to run together after a while. It's hard to tell what the difference between Tuesday and Friday. There's landscapers working. I've never been happier to just see people outside before. Like literally anytime I see anybody walking or anything, I feel like this immediate connection and appreciation for them. But I wanted to try and shed some light on, I think, some tough situations that are developing as a result of what we're all going through here with this COVID-19. And one of the more unsettling things that I've seen is just how people who have different opinions about the severity of the virus, how to control it, whether or not the economy should be quote unquote shut down. And what's happened is people have really become aggressive and they're attacking people with different opinions. And I wanted to just give my opinion on it and encourage people to maybe just pause when they see certain things that are on Facebook or somebody's opinion and try and understand this. And, you know, I've had a lot of downtime recently, not a lot of downtime, but I've had a lot of time to think, forced thinking, because, you know, with everything going on, it's more important that us as a company are strategic, where before we could kind of just go through the motions. We'd have meetings once a week to be strategic, but most of our time was spent executing on the things that we needed to do, where now we spend a lot of time executing, but even more time strategically planning what our next step is because of the uncertainty of our market. And we've been relatively blessed that you know, we're continuing to buy homes. I mean, there's still people out there that see the value in selling to a cash buyer. We have great relationships with our banks and our private lenders. We're in a good position to be able to continue to generate revenue and reward our investors and all that good stuff. But my point is that I think we need to do a better job of understanding how this impacts different people differently. For example, you know, the first wave of people that were impacted was hospitality staff, waiters and waitresses. And, you know, I still hear all these people, stay home, stay home, stay home. And I get it. Like, I understand that staying home and limiting or eliminating contact with people is a proven way to slow the spread of the virus and even eliminate individually, person by person, family by family, their ability to get it. So, but the people that, you know, we're trying to prevent a hypothetical situation where when we talk about preventing the spread of the virus, we're talking about what it could be. This is impacting people right now financially, and they're scared. So it's hard for people to take what they're experiencing right now. Like, I know, you know, people that are, if they don't go back to work in the next couple days, it's going to be challenging for them to pay the rent. It's going to be challenging for them to buy groceries. It doesn't matter if the grocery stores are open or not. If you don't have the money to be able to survive. So when you see people out there that are maybe scrambling about going back to work, it's because they're already in a life or death situation. And it doesn't mean that they're right and you're wrong, but I would encourage you to try and understand where people are coming from. There's other people that have this peace of mind of security of the government stepping in to make sure that everything's okay. I am one that, you know, of a person as a business owner that we don't get talked about, you know. So, and I have between two offices, we have 60 employees. So, you know, if you think about what goes through a business owner's mind to try and not only provide for his family, the business provides for 50, 60, 70 families, and then all of the contractors that work for us. It's well over 200 people that rely on us. And that creates a whole different set of concerns for business owners. And, everybody needs to realize that we're all in a different situation, but we are all in this same situation together. Everybody wants the same thing. If you could snap your fingers and go back to 3 weeks ago, the way that life was, man, I don't know about you, but life was great. It was almost springtime. March Madness was coming. The economy was rocking. Our business was booming. We were hiring people almost every week. Our business was expanding. It was an amazing time to be in business. It was an amazing time to be American for me. And almost at the drop of a hat, that stopped. And now we're in this, whatever this is. So I would just encourage you to, before you engage in an argument and lash out at people on Facebook, understand that people are dealing with this differently because they have different sets of circumstances. There's small business owners that have spent their entire life building a small business that may employ, 4 to 40 people. And it's really difficult to imagine how the government could possibly help them rebuild their business. I mean, I can tell you, I have every dollar that I've ever earned invested in my company. And what scares me to death is starting over. Whatever happens. And, we'll make sure that we get through this as best as we can. We've continued with business as usual as far as we're concerned. But, I'm of the belief that there's a way for us to go back to work and control the spread of the virus. It requires a tremendous amount of discipline and responsibility from people. But I can tell you, our business, before even any lockdowns or anything like that, for 2 weeks now, we've been working remote. We've taken every recommended precaution on how to protect our clients, how to protect our contractors, how to protect our team members. Biggest thing we did is we just sent everybody home. We figured out a way for everybody to work remote. And think about that. We used to have 25 people buzzing around our office. Now we have 0. And I believe if everybody took those steps, that we would be able to quote unquote flatten out the curve. And I'm just so tired of people arguing about, the death percentage and the data's not reported and all this stuff. But there's definitely two challenges here. There is one, how do we save the economy from a complete meltdown? And 2, how do we protect ourselves, knowing the science behind this thing? And, it's a difficult decision to make because I think at some point you're going to have to be forced to move in one direction or the other. And it's just always difficult. I don't know that there's a right answer. There's a scientific approach that says if you forget about money, you put all money aside, money doesn't matter, which, by the way, it does. And I'm not saying that from a selfish perspective. I'm telling you, money and the lack thereof causes more divorces than anything else. It causes more stress than anything else. It causes more anxiety than anything else. And then you think about what stress causes when it comes to deaths. I don't know the statistics, but stress is one of the leading contributors to things like heart attacks and suicide and stuff like that. It's real. The economic threat that this virus poses is just as real, if not bigger, than the medical threat. And just understand that every single person is trying to deal with this the best that they can. But if you're in the medical field, you may have a completely different opinion. God bless those people that have the proper training and are sacrificing their personal lives and jeopardizing their health to work crazy hours to be there to support our community. And but the one thing they're not worried about right now is probably money. And again, it doesn't make it right or wrong. I'm just telling you that person has a completely different set of a different mindset than a person that runs a restaurant and is out of business. And they're forced to dwell on the economic impact, not the medical impact. And I just want everybody to be more receptive, more open-minded, that now more than ever, again, this knows no race or creed or financial. This is impacting everybody the same, in the sense that it's scaring the living shit out of people. It's whether you have a lot of money or a little bit of money, it's costing you all of what you have. If your income is shut off, whether you have a big income or a little income, zero becomes zero. It flattens the economic curve. So just please try and understand that I really believe, whether you like them or not, that our president and his staff are trying to make the right decisions. Could we have acted quicker? Who knows? Certainly. It's easy to say that we could have shut the country down a month ago. But look at what's happening right now, and how people are panicking and worried about money and all of this pandemonium that comes along with it. It's a challenging time. And I think, we need to try and be as supportive of each other as possible. Don't judge people because they want to go back to work. I mean, think about that. I mean, we're honestly criticizing people because they want so badly to just go back to work. And it's probably because they don't know where their next meal is going to come from, or they're worried about how they're going to feed their kids in 3 months. I mean, it's just crazy to me that people are criticizing other Americans for just wanting to work. All they want to do is go to work. I get the medical threat and the scientific data that supports not being in closed groups. I think we've done a tremendous job by, if anything, and we're going to see the results of closing down major events in the NBA and Major League Baseball and these huge gatherings. I mean, thank goodness that those steps were taken when they were, and hopefully it has a big impact on the end result. But just understand that everybody that you see on Facebook doesn't work where you work. They don't make the money you make. They don't have the responsibilities that you have. They may or may not have kids. They may have a tremendous amount of confidence in the government's ability to get us through this. But I've never had anybody hand me anything. So it is just different for me to believe that somebody's going to make sure that I'm okay. And I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm not picking a Democrat or a Republican side. I'm just saying, based on my life experiences, no one's ever given me anything. So if I'm not able to provide for my company, if I'm not able to provide for my family, how in the world can you convince me that everything's going to be okay? It's hard. And I try and be open-minded. I try and remain positive. But my life experiences have led me to not believe, but to just know that I only get what I work for. So if I'm not working for something and I'm not producing anything, how in the hell am I supposed to believe that everything's going to be okay? So don't argue with me about my position or opinion on why I believe we need to get back to business and get people working as soon as possible. It's not so that I can go buy a new car. It's not so that I can go buy new shoes. It's not that I can, buy a beach house. It's so that I can keep 60 people employed. It's because I want the 60 people that work for me to be okay. And I don't know any other way than to know that everything's okay, than for me to be able to do what I've always done, which is work and provide for the people that rely on me. And there's a whole different set of people out there that, have a different perspective, and they're not right and they're not wrong. And it's not wrong for them to feel that way. Everybody's opinion and desires right now, whether it's to stay inside and go on lockdown for a month to make sure that everything's going to be okay, I don't blame you for that. It's a scary thing. I can just share with you that from my perspective as a business owner, it scares the living shit out of me to be shut down and unable to help my employees and the people that rely on me to be able to provide for themselves, because no one's ever given me anything. I've never gotten a stimulus check. I've never been provided anything that wasn't earned by me. So it's hard for me to believe that someone's going to step in and make sure that I'm okay. And again, I could be absolutely wrong. But based on the way that I grew up and based on the way that I built my business from scratch, from zero, from one employee to 60, the one thing that I know without any hesitation is nothing was ever getting to me. I had to fight and scratch and claw and work my ass off for everything that I have. The thought of losing that or even starting over is it's scary. It's really scary. So I would just ask you to try and consider and understand where different people are coming from. Everybody's circumstances are different. And stop arguing with people on Facebook. You can make a point. I think it's healthy for people to share different perspectives and different experiences. But just try and be kind to people, man. Stop attacking people because they're scared to leave their house. Stop attacking people because they feel like they can go back to work and maintain safe distances and wash their hands and that the virus is going to spread like that. The one thing I believe is we're all going to get sick. Whether we lock down for 2 months or whatever, everybody's going to get it. I think I might have had it 2 months ago. I had a lot of symptoms. I tested negative for the flu. And I was sick for, almost 3 weeks. And, but I don't know. Who knows? I think everybody's a little sensitive right now and skeptical, but, just be nice to each other and try and understand where everybody's coming from, because our response to this is based off of our life experiences, our own individual set of challenges, our own individual set of responsibilities. Some people, again, when you talk about business owners, are not only worried about themselves, they're worried about the 25 or 35 people that they employ. And that's scary, to think that to no fault of your own, and it's a decision that you can't make. We're told what to do. We're told we cannot work. And that upsets some people. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I see all the math. I see the virus in New York. I see the virus in Washington State. I see the deaths. I see the pace at which it spreads. And we see that now. And the hard part is trying to forecast the economic effects of what we're doing now, because they won't start to unfold for weeks and months and possibly years down the road. So just try and be a little bit more understanding of everybody's circumstances. We all come from a different place. We all have a different story. We all have different, responsibilities. And that's what's going to influence, what we believe is right and wrong. That's going to influence whether or not we want to go back to work or whether or not we want to hide inside. So just be more understanding of people's personal, professional, and financial situations and how they respond to this. There is no book that's written on how to respond to this. We're all just trying to do our best. So just hang in there and try and be more understanding of what people are going through. Everybody just wants to get back to normal. I can promise you that. And if you just try and be more understanding of where people are coming from, we'll get through it quicker. See y'all.